Here's a trip up to Liebre Mountain in the San Gabriel Mountains. It turned out to be a little bit of a challenge on the both up and down, up and back on the first half mile or so. The trail branches off of the old ridge route, not too far from the Highway 138, where we can park along the shoulder on the old ridge route. And so we start up this fairly wide trail, which shows obvious signs of having been used by motorized motorcycles and bicycles. In fact, it's quite bumpy and in places quite rocky and very open. And as we climb, we can look back down and see our car parked alongside the road. And then the trail really begins to gain elevation at a pretty good rate. As Dale trudges his way up the hill. As does Jack. We also start to get into a little bit more brushy areas with some shade, although this was a fairly nice cool day we had. And then we also begin to get some pretty nice views. Even including a little touch of wildflowers on the hill below us. This adds a little bit of color for us. And then we can begin to take a little bit longer look out towards the horizon. Not too bad a day. The trail also breaks out on this little meadow. We've finally gotten above the really steep part of the trail, so the going was a little bit easier. In fact, we join a service road or fire road that's not too far from the top. The top of Liebre Mountain is really not just a single summit, but more a ridge line of ups and downs. And so we headed for a point which looked like it might enable us to get some pretty good views. And so it did, up where Jack stopped to have his picture taken. At an elevation of about 5,300 feet above sea level. And along with Dale, where both of us take a few moments to enjoy the view. That patch of blue down there is Quail Lake, part of the State Water Project. It's all very pretty scenery. We even found some wildflowers here and there. Here and there, some good old California poppies. But then after wandering around on top for a while, we decided it was about time to head back. But not before spending a little time enjoying some more of these wildflowers popping out here and there. But then it was back down the trail from whence we had come. Then we hit the steeper parts of the trail, which don't seem to look quite as steep in the pictures as they did on the ground. Some of it involved stepping almost sideways to keep the footing. And then a final view before getting back to the car. After about a 4-mile hike with a 1,200-foot elevation gain.